Hello everyone. In this episode, we will review the latest Kali Linux 2022.1 release. New exciting features and buffs have been announced by the most advanced operating system based on Debian that is aimed for offensive security and hacking. Kali 2022.1 includes visual updates, Kali Everything ISOs, legacy SSH, new hacking tools aimed at bug bounty hunters and pentesters ranging from recon to post-exploitation and more. Kali Linux is a Linux distribution allowing cybersecurity professionals, bug bounty hunters, and ethical hackers to perform penetration testing and security audits against internal and remote networks. So with this 2022.1 release on Valentine's Day, the Kali Linux team introduces a bunch of new features, including the first thing we'll look at is visual refresh theme updates. The second thing is shell prompt changes. The third thing is refreshed browser landing page. The fourth thing is Kali Linux everything in one place. The fifth thing is Kali tweaks, legacy SSH made easy. And the sixth thing we'll look at is new tools in Kali. So besides that, offensive security has been working on a new feature, which just isn't quite ready yet, as the documentation is still in progress. It's a large one, so it's going to have its own blog post once ready to help demonstrate its importance to them. This one is for you bare metal installers. So a bit more on these updates. Visual refresh, theme updates. As promised back in Kali 2021.2, beginning with this release going forwards, this update includes new wallpapers for desktop, login, and boot displays, in addition to a refreshed installer theme, which you may have seen if you have recently updated. Shell prompt changes. You talk, they listen. They have made a few tweaks, which they hope will make your life easier since their last prompt update in 2020.4. Examples of this problem may be when writing a professional pentesting report or collaborating on debugging code and sharing the terminal. The right side prompt, which had the exit code and the number of background processes, may have gotten in the way, so it has been removed from their default shell ZSH. Refreshed browser landing page. This release comes with a fresh new look for the default landing page shipped inside Kali. Utilizing the refreshed documentation sites, Kali Docs and Kali Tools, the search function will help you find almost anything you could need using Kali Linux. Kali Everything image, everything in one place. This release will welcome a new flavor, the Kali Linux Everything image. This allows for a complete offline standalone image ISO for those who require all of Kali's tool to be pre-installed. Unlike previously, users will not be required to download the Kali Linux Everything packages during Kali's setup via network mirror, as they will be located on the same media, but the image is much larger to initially download due to this. Because of the size increase from 2.8 GB to 9.4 GB, these images will be only initially offered using a technology that is designed to handle the traffic BitTorrent. Kali tweaks, legacy SSH made easy. There is a new setting in the Kali tweaks hardening section. It is now possible to configure Kali's SSH client for wide compatibility, which means that old algorithms and ciphers are enabled. Thanks to that, connecting to old servers that use those is now straightforward. No need to pass additional options explicitly on the command line. New tools in Kali. Between numerous packages updates, there has been various new tools added. A quick breakdown of what has been added. Dns X, fast and multipurpose DNS toolkit allowed to run multiple DNS queries. Email to phone number, a NoSend tool to obtain a target's phone number just by having his email address. Nabu, a fast port scanner with a focus on reliability and simplicity. Nuclei, targeted scanning based on templates. A lot of bug bounters know about this tool. Posh C2, a proxy-aware C2 framework with post-exploitation and lateral movement. Proxify, Swiss Army knife proxy tool for HTTP, HTTPS traffic capture, manipulation, and replay on the go. And finally, Kali ARM updates, a list of packages that were previously not available for the ARM64 architecture and that have been added in this release, like Ferox Buster and Ghidra. So let's jump in. So as you can see from the latest Kali Linux edition, you notice also to the right side some new cool widgets showing you some various statistics on your hardware and application that I've been using, including like network speed and memory usage. You can add those and customize them now on the default graphical user interface that comes with Kali Linux. You can notice also the new refresh page on the browser, as they mentioned. So make sure to check the release on their official link on Cali.org and go through the details, because it's going to help you understand what sort of new features have been added so you can experiment, use them, and tweak the way you work with Kali. Kali Linux always is offering huge updates every time, and we're excited to share some of these. As you can see, there are certain things like the shell prompt changes. It's also showing you the instructions how to edit your ZSHRC config, which is the default shell from Kali Linux. You can also check the refreshed browser landing page, which we just showed you earlier, and this is going to allow you as well to tweak the way you open the browser, having different things. So in terms of meta packages, this is very important, because using the meta packages, you can decide which Kali Linux you want to downgrade or upgrade depending on the size or on the hardware you're using. So it gives you more flexibility to be targeted. So you can install specific tools on a Raspberry Pi or specific meta packages depending if you have like a VM, a laptop, a server, or if you have more space, and so on. So some of the tweaks as well on the legacy SSH will allow you now and expand the compatibility against different protocols. In order to do this, when it comes to SSH, all you have to do is type Kali-tweaks, as you saw. And this will be available under the hardening mode. So if you select SSH client, and you can see now, it's gonna give you more access to legacy services. So this is very important as well, especially when you're working with SSH against different types of operating system in order to maximize the compatibility. So moving forward as well, you can notice that there are also some Vmware i3 improvements. So in that version, under Kali Desktop i3, they have fixed the drag and drop copy paste feature, which was not enabled by default. And as you can see from the accessibility talk to me, so now Kali Linux, so they have always tried to support as many users from their early release until today. So to help blind and visually impaired users, they are pleased to say that speech synthesis is back in the Kali setup. So this is gonna help a lot, especially when you are installing in the first stages Kali Linux, which is before actually getting and reaching the operating system in order to load the audio. And now this is available in the setup. So more things are like the new tools that you can see from here, which we will show you as well how to open each one and run them, since they come now by default in Kali Linux. And more updates on the ARM, more support. You can now use Ghidra and Ferox Buster on ARM64 like your Raspberry Pi, expanding the compatibility and power on using such smaller machines. So you can download Kali Linux as well. You can check some of the instructions to upgrade, or if you already have it installed, the commands that you need to do to update it. So in order to do this, you can see from this version, we are gonna grab the version to show you that we're using the 2022.1 version from EDC OS release. You can check this as well in order to confirm what sort of version your Kali Linux is running, in order to perform the necessary update on the latest version depending on what sort of meta package you want to choose. You can see from here we're using 2022.1, so you can also type neofetch and you get full specifications of your machine. And now we're gonna show you some of the things as well. So for example, they have added new wallpapers, and this is really great because every time they refresh, they add something in terms of the visuals, unlike other operating system which takes sometimes ages to add new wallpapers. They pay attention a lot on the visual. This is really intuitive because now you can also enjoy some of the latest graphical UI changes, especially the widgets that you can see on the left side, which you can drag and drop and make them look like you can see from here on the right side. So there are also all of the tools that have been added. They have been added depending on the category they fall into, and you can find them always on the menu or call them from your terminal. So we're gonna show you some of these tools, the top ones, and run them for you from your terminal. If you don't have it installed, if you type the name of the tool, since it's in default, it's gonna ask you as well to install it using the default app manager. So the first tool is Dns X, and as soon as you type it, it's from Project Discovery. Big shout out to them, which have added a lot of tools in this version. You can also see the email to phone number by just typing it, and you can check also Nabu as well, which is also from Project Discovery. Another tool as well that have been added from the same is Nucli, and all you have to do is just call them from your terminal, as you can see from here, including the posh, which is a really powerful post-exploitation tool. You can also call the project by typing posh-project as well in order to call the project that you're working on. Post-exploitation is really important because it shows you that once you get shell and access to a machine, this is just the beginning. And enhancing these tools, such as adding posh and many other tools as well, is going to help you enhance the way you work when it comes to post-exploitation techniques. This is really great because we can see the innovation and the selection of tools are really powerful additions to this latest Kali Linux. Another one is Firefox Buster is now also supported on your ARM or Raspberry Pi. This is very easy to use. You can also check the help file and it shows you all of the instructions on how you can use it against the URL, especially when you're performing OSINT and recon and you want to understand more about the URLs of any website, helping you understand the structure of it and what sort of extensions you can also call out. So this actually leaves us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Make sure to update your Kali Linux to the latest version and give us some more comments as well on what you think of this specific release. So also we want to give a big thank you to all our patrons on this channel on Patreon. So Patreon is a different and separate platform from YouTube where you can find exclusive content that you cannot find anywhere else. You can ask us anything in our Q&A sessions, be the first to vote on our next episodes throughout our polls, and get exclusive hacking videos twice a month. Check the link in the description for more info. So thank you for watching, and as always, until next time.